Well, that's Tavares. Thank you for listening. 12:24. That one especially for Amanda. Now, my next guest is one of the youngest published authors in the UK. The Lincolnshire actress and author Abigail Tartellin is about to see her debut novel flick in the shops, even though it was written when she was 19. Abigail is joining us on the programme now. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, Peter. Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm very, very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Are you an actress who writes or a writer who acts?
I'd like to say I'm a bit of both. I think some of the best people that I really like in both professions are very creative and do a lot of things. So, a bit of both. I started out acting. Always thought I would write when I was much older, when I had something to say, because I didn't think I really did. Yeah. And then I ended up having this idea to write a book about a boy from the northeast called Flick, and it just turned into a book very quickly.
Did you base this on somebody?
It's not actually based on one person, no. It's based on, I think I was talking to a lot of my friends at the time and realising that we were going through the same sort of things. And I wanted to write a book about that because I think a lot of contemporary literature nowadays ostracises young people who really are young people, who really go through the very quite adult issues that a lot of young people go through nowadays. I mean, there's books like Harry Potter that, they're very well written, but Harry doesn't grow up in a world where there's, drugs are so accessible and the bad language is, the mode of the day. So I wanted to write a book about these things and a 15-year-old growing up into this culture and dealing with it, because I think literature does. It can start a dialogue around those things, so young people can choose whether or not they participate, rather than just being, shot into a world and having to deal with it.
Yes, I mean, there's so much out there, isn't there, with the drugs and everything else that they're in front of them. They've got to make the decision whether they go down the path of doing it all or deciding to say no.
Absolutely, and who can they talk to about that when people don't want to know? I mean, we had... my agent is fantastic. She's her name's Jo Unwin, and she's from Conville and Walsh. They're a really good agency. They're in London, and we gave this to so many publishers, and they all came back and said, "God, it's such a good book, and we really love it." But the money men are worried about the content because literature they tend to be quite prudish about what they put in bookstores nowadays, and it's not even. I wouldn't say it's that bad, but it's just that they're young people and they're growing up in a realistic world where they are dealing with adult issues, and people don't want to know. People don't want to talk about it.
That's so interesting, isn't it? So interesting. I mean, you're one of the youngest published authors in the country now. I mean, how does that feel?
It feels quite cool.
It feels quite cool, and the bank account's doing quite well.
Yeah, well, it's doing better. Yeah. It's really, I'm really thrilled with it. It was just, people always ask me now how it happened and if I could give them any tips.
What would you say?
I almost can't, because I literally don't know. I didn't know anyone from the publishing world. I had no friends who were authors or had anything to do with that. And I just, I finished this book, and then I thought, well, I don't know if it's rubbish or if it's really good, but I'll send it off to some agents. So I Googled the top 6 literary agents in the UK, sent it off. A couple of them got back to me. I really, really liked Jo, and we just took it from there. So really, I think I have quite a lot of pride around that, because I don't come from, a lot of people who publish do come from backgrounds where, they're quite privileged to begin with, and they're very talented, but it's nice to come from somewhere where you don't know anybody who's publishing a book and have done all that yourself. To be a self-made man is a very nice.
It is an extraordinary story, and you've done it with your own sort of zest and feistiness there. I mean, it's fantastic, so great. And you're working on a pilot comedy series for the BBC, I believe.
Well, I'm not. It's one of many things that are in the pipeline. Yeah, I'm just working on something with a friend who works for the BBC at the moment. So, I've recently finished my second book, so that's the next thing that may well come out soon.
And where are you now? Where am I talking to you from?
I'm in Lincolnshire. I'm visiting my parents for the week. It's not so much a sunny day yesterday, but it was beautiful today, but it was beautiful yesterday. I had such a nice time, feeding the ducks in the back garden. It's very different from London at the moment with all the work, so it's nice.
Well, it is, as I say, it is a fantastic success story, and all credit to you. Good luck with the book. And this first one is published any day now, isn't it?
It's published April 7th, so a week tomorrow. As you can imagine, everything's a bit crazy, but I'm really excited. I think we're going to really just celebrate next week, and we're doing a breakfast with my agents and publishers and a lot of friends in Waterstones in Piccadilly, and so the book's going to be out through Waterstones, through Amazon, on Kindle, on iTunes as an ebook, and I think we're going to do an audiobook soon as well.
Fantastic. There is the advert. Listen, it's great to have you on the programme, Abigail. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for having me, Peter.
Take care.
All
Bye.
Right.
There we are. That's Lincolnshire writer Abigail Tartolin, one of the youngest published authors in the UK, and her book is just about to be published. And if you want to find out more about it, it is called Flick. It is 12:31.